guys, how you doing? I think we're live now. You ready for lessons learned during a pandemic? Episode number 1?
We are ready.
All right. So just as a little intro to this program, you know, I've been talking to a lot of real estate agents over the last couple of months. We're all attending webinars and really getting ready for making plans for the market ahead. But what I've really been hearing from agents is that they'd like to know what other agents have been experiencing during this crisis over the last couple of months. So I had this brilliant idea to do a little series of lessons learned during a pandemic. And we're going to do a series of 6. I asked Julie Scott to join me, and here we are today. What I'm kind of excited about is that Denny Grimes and Candace Decker are our first guests for lessons learned during a pandemic. You know, Candace was our guest for News Press Market Watch 2020, A Look into the Future, back on February 25th. And we are like 90 days almost to the day from that. Denny, I remember you mentioning an X factor, and until I talked to you last week, I didn't realize that X factor was the coronavirus. But here we are living in the future, 90 days almost to the day. And Denny and Candace is the first time you guys have met each other in person. So maybe you can tell each other a little bit about yourselves.
Candace, go first. I'll let the whippersnapper go first.
Thanks. I'm Candace Decker. I am the team lead for the Candace Decker Group of eXp Realty. We are located in Cape Coral, and we work all the surrounding areas, Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Pine Island, and the beaches.
Awesome. And I'm Denny Grimes, Keller Williams, Naples. I have an office in Fort Myers and Naples, and what we call a mega agent office in Gateway. Been in real estate in Southwest Florida for 35 years, and have Kathy was mentioning the Market Watch program, which is the largest event of its kind in the country, where we talk about what's going to be happening and what's happened, what will happen in the market, residentially, commercially, and with the new home market. And I've been the speaker on that for about 23 years. So about more that's older than Candace is. So it's happening. I'm happy to be on the screen and get to meet her for the first time. I've heard her name. And Julie Scott does a lot of work with my team. Hi, Julie. And Kathy and I, we've done a lot of business in the past, and we go back at probably at least 20 or 25 years. That's
right. That's right. So Denny, when you were planning Market Watch, was this a thought process that was going on between Randy and you and Stan, or was it just a little idea at the time?
When you talk about Market Watch, or are you talking about the virus right now?
I'm talking about when you and the guys were working on Market Watch. Were you having discussions about, I wonder how this is going to affect it?
No. What's kind of interesting about how that all develops is most of the time, the 3 speakers, and there's always, most of the times there are 3 speakers. We have one brief meeting early on in the process. We go to our corners and do our research. Then we kind of come together, and there's not a lot of collaboration. What happens is, because we're all, you know, looking at data, and with no spin, we want to give it the way it is. It's amazing how it kind of all fits together. And there was really no discussion about the virus back then.
What made you mention the X factor then, Denny?
Well, because there's, you know, I have to give predictions, and it was so early on. You got to remember, back the end of February, I mean, we were coming off 2019 was the best year ever, and we talked about that at Market Watch. January, the numbers were in for January. January was double digit better than the previous January. So 2020, I predicted to be even a better year, and maybe our best year ever, because I thought the market was probably going to slow down after that. And then when you make a predictions, you gotta hedge your bets. And I said, well, the X factor, and I did have it on the slide, is the coronavirus. And
I think that's incredible. Now we're here today. Candace, I remember that you really enjoyed that Market Watch event. What's your thoughts when Denny mentioned the X factor? Was it even on your radar?
Well, first I have to say that if you have not been to Market Watch, it is such an incredible event. Denny, you do an incredible job. I mean, the knowledge that I gained from you and the other speakers was just tremendous. So you put on such a great event. You know, I got into the business in 2012, so I was not a part of the housing crash. So for me, being in the business, you know, always going up, I knew that there was going to be something that would eventually happen, right? Wasn't expecting a global pandemic, but I knew that was in our future.
That's a good answer. Hey, you know, but I know at the time you said you wanted to meet Denny, so it may have taken 90 days, but it's happening today, right?
No, it's great to have the two perspectives. Denny, a veteran who's been in the business 35 years, and Candace, who's been in the business about 8 years. So it's great to have the two of you here to, you know, give your different perspectives.
Yes, I think it's amazing. Julie, I apologize because I didn't give you the opportunity to introduce yourself. But Denny kind of introduced you.
Yes,
But go ahead.
yes. So Julie Scott, Movement Mortgage. So glad to be here. Thank you, guys.
Oh, that's short and sweet.
Julie, the point you made is really, really, really good. Am I coming through okay?
Yes.
You are
Yes.
coming through okay to
Are
me.
you hearing me?
Mhm.
So the interesting point, I'm looking forward to this discussion because Candace represents someone that, you know, and I said this, maybe on Market Watch, I do a lot of speaking, is that buyers and sellers, agents that have been in the market less than 10 years, don't know what a disruption is. They've never seen interest rates over 5%. And so Candace, when you talk in terms of, you know, your lessons, you're talking to a significant portion of the audience out there that they could be a little freaked out. Now, for me, I'm the old veteran. I've got all the bullet holes and the scars to prove it. So I wasn't so freaked out. So I'm curious, and so is the audience. What was going through your brain during your first? And here's the thing I want to draw. It's not the pandemic. It's called a market disruption. There's been a number of them. They all have different names. They all act kind of the same. So, Candace, what have you learned?
So I've learned a lot. And Denny, you actually prepared me for this at the end of your Market Watch speech. You talked about going through the market crash. And so I had already been mentally preparing for that. So thank you. I appreciate that. A mentor of mine, Tom Ferry, last year at a conference I was at, he asked a very important question. And he said, is your business built out of sticks or is it built out of bricks and stone and is a castle? And so that's also been playing through my mind in the last year or so is I want to build my business as a big castle and not sticks that can easily be blown over. So now going through this in the last 60 days, I see the real importance of building your brand, having recognition, right? Having a really solid database to fall back on and making sure that you have the right systems in place. So, you know, really having these blocks built up so that when we do go through something like this, you're not, you know, laying in bed with the covers over your eyes, having no idea what to do. So I think that's really important. And then just doubling down on what you do best, right? So whatever the prospecting is that you do best, instead of doing it for 2 hours a day, you should be doing it for 4 or 5 hours a day. So instead
and don't forget, our next question is what advice we have. So I love hearing about your lessons learned, but the next question will be what advice you have. So let's kind of keep that open. So Denny, I hear Candace saying her lesson learned was to build a castle with a moat around it, right, Candace?
Mm-hmm.
Denny, now listen, what would you really say a lesson you might have learned since you're the veteran and you're already kind of beat up? I'm kind of curious what lesson you might have learned.
Well, it's like I said, the pandemic is really a market disruption. We've been through several. Obviously, the market crashed in 2006. We went through the Gulf oil spill. We went through 9/11. We had hurricanes. There's been a number of them, some more localized than others. And here's the thing, and Candace is being exactly spot on. Our relation, no one, the Zillows of the world, the Quicken Mortgage of the world, all these big internet companies, or they're funded by billions of dollars. They can't take our business away if we control one thing, and that's the relationship with the customer. And so what Candace is saying, the castle with the moat is the relationship to your database. Now, here's a sad fact, Kathy, is the fact that now People now know what social distancing is because it's the law. Unfortunately, too many agents have been practicing social and physical distancing since they got their real estate license. And they're not talking to people. They're not building that relationship. They're waiting on someone to maybe like their Facebook page and say, hey, come, I want to list a house. So what I have learned throughout all the different market disruptions is, number one, exactly what Candace is saying, get closer to the customer. And there's never been an easier time for you to pick up the phone and call your customers or your sphere or your family and just ask a simple question. How are you doing? We call them Karen concern.
Oh, we're losing your sound there, Denny.
Shut up in their houses. Sorry. People have been shut up in their houses, and now's the time to call and check on them, because if you really care about your customers, call and care. Ask them how they're doing. It doesn't have to be a prospecting call. It's a care and concern call. And you know what? If you don't want to call your database, no worries. Somebody else will.
Yeah. So Denny, you're basically saying your lesson learned was that this is a disruptor, not unlike a lot of other disruptors we've had, and to stick with, you know, a systematic approach to keeping those relationships, and they'll continue to, you know, have the success they've had in the past, and certainly continue to gain knowledge on platforms or having time to learn, et cetera, et cetera. Is that kind of what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, and I'll just put it in one sentence and you go to the next question. That's this. Whatever market you're in, enjoy it, endure it, it will change. And
Good.
just for the last 10 years, we've had a good run. And if you ever get into the thought that it's never going to change, like it's bad, it will get better. If it's great, it will get worse. So the secret is maintain the relationship with the client.
So that's great advice. And Candace, that's kind of what you picked up in the early on from Market Watch, is to prepare yourself for all of these different occurrences that could happen. So good information. So I think my next question I kind of scripted, and this is an opportunity to answer it in any way you want, is really what advice you might have either for other agents or for our potential home buyers and home sellers out there. Because I got to tell you, I've lived in Lee County since 1967. The first half of my career was as a realtor, and the second half in the title insurance industry. And I have a lot of friends, and I have a lot of family. What I'm asking realtors to do is let our homeowners know what they want to know. I wonder if this is affecting my home value. If I had to make a moving decision right now, would it be good or would it be bad? I'm just begging agents to reach out and be the place people can go, the home buyers and home sellers, to get correct, you know, accurate information. So, but this is your chance to answer what advice you might have for, and Julie, you as well, because you're in the lending. What advice would you have for either other agents or home buyers and home sellers today as we kind of are maneuvering through this crisis? Let's start with Julie.
Oh, start with me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the advice that I would have is kind of like, you know, to other agents, other lenders, just like Denny and Candace said, stay in front of your database. I'm finding, and I think everybody's finding, that people are so receptive right now. I call somebody, they pick up the phone, they're just so happy to have somebody to talk to because they're feeling so isolated. Right. So really just communicate with your database, stay positive, because just like Denny said, it might be bad, but it's going to get better. But quite frankly, and Denny and Candace can comment on this, I mean, the market's just been crazy. I think I commented on a Facebook post of Candace's last night. I mean, I've gotten a ton of contracts this week, and part of it is because rates are low and people are financing as opposed to taking money out of the stock market. People are refinancing. So, you know, I don't know how Denny and Candace feel, but the market's pretty hot right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead, Candace.
I was going to say, we're having a record-breaking month right now. But we've also gone after the opportunities that are out there. And Kathy, that was the answer to your question of what advice do I have right now for everybody. And that's, make sure that you're turning off the news and actually looking at the data. I know Denny knows the data better than anybody else, but turn off the news and look at what is actually happening. Like right now in Cape Coral, yesterday, there were 46 homes that went under contract and only 15 that hit the market. We have to know, as the knowledge brokers in our area, what is happening so that we can intelligently communicate this to the buyers and sellers, because they're watching the news. They're afraid of what's happening, and with the unemployment numbers the way that they are, they're just hearing things all over the place, but we have to inform them. So it's just important to look at what's happening on a daily basis.
And you said what I think, be the resource, be the information of statistics. So Denny, what's your advice?
Well, I echo that. The interesting thing is, my wife basically has about 100 agents around the country working on part of her expansion team, and she's got a number of agents that are having record months as well. Now, I'm going to tell you that the market is down. If you're having a record month, that means you've been putting in the activities to have that. Now, you don't have.
Down.
Yeah, well, I know. I look. My internet seems a little unstable, so just.
Well, you are in Alaska.
Here's the thing. The market's down in Lee County about 25% in number of homes sold. I talked to one team leader in an office, and their production is down 40%. That's a lot because of the attitude or the mindset of the agent. I had an agent come to me, Kathy, and said, well, I had 3 listings. All the sellers came to me and wanted to cancel because of the C-19 environment. And I said, well, what did you say to them? And the agent said, well, I don't blame you. I'd cancel too. I wouldn't want my home on the market right now. So their mindset was, that's being sympathetic and not empathetic. For the last 45 days, I've given a number of different webinars, and I'll offer this to any agent that's listening. You can go to one of my Facebook, Denny Grimes Mastermind, and I've got it on tape. I'm happy to share it with you. I've got 4 reasons why buyers and sellers should stay in the market right now. And one of the scripts that I use is this: when somebody wants to back out, and you can write the script down, this is being recorded, go get it. It's number 1. I'll just like role play with Candace a minute. Candace, listen, I understand. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty in the market, no question about that. However, there's 2 things that I know spot on for sure. Number 1, there will be winners and losers, and I trust you want to be a winner. The second thing I know for sure is you can't win in this market unless you're in this market. Right now for a buyer, and that's the script, so I'm going to switch. Right now for a buyer, this is the first time a buyer may have had a little bit of equal playing field. The sellers might be a little bit more motivated than they were in January. They might be willing to throw in the lawnmower that won't start or the avocado green refrigerator in the garage. And for a buyer to step out of the market now, particularly with low interest rates, etc., it's crazy. And so I go through on my webinar, and it's 30 minutes long. You can go there and just listen to the recording. 4 reasons why sellers should stay in the market now. 4 reasons why buyers should stay in the market now. And for the agents that want to sit on their hands and wait for the things to get better, thank you. Because you're allowing agents that want to work to take market share.
Gotcha. So that is some great advice. I'm going to move into question 3 because we're going to keep our little series at 20 minutes. And I'm hoping something funny comes out of this, because I cannot figure out what good or bad habit I've developed over the span of this pandemic. I'm addicted to 2 things. I'm addicted to work, and I'm addicted to my family. And I spend 18 hours a day trying to make sure I get enough of both of those. So I haven't learned any good habits. I haven't listened to the birds sing on the bird feeder in my backyard. But I know somebody's got some really solid good or bad habits they've developed. And I hope between the 3 of you, be honest and let me know what yours is.
Go ahead, Julie.
Well, a bad habit is we get a lot of takeout, but part of that is we're trying to support the local restaurants. So, it's good for the economy. And a good habit is, I've always been the type of person that I've got to wake up, get dressed, go to the office.
You go to the gym first, Julie. You go to the gym
after I go to the gym, yeah. But now I've been working from home. I can go in the office, and I do occasionally, but I find I get a lot more done at home because I can just go from drinking my coffee right into my home office. And I feel like I'm much more productive that way. So
Oh, that's
I'll
good.
probably continue that habit after this pandemic is over.
Okay. Candace, I notice you spending a lot of time with your little ones, and it's so adorable, and it really, truly looks like you're having a blast.
I am. And luckily, through all of this, I have been able to spend a little bit of extra time with them. So, I've tried to really just have more fun with them and be more present. So that's one good thing that's come out of it. Some bad habits were created naturally because my team wasn't here. They were working from home. My buyer's agent, she's at home with her 11-month-old. So, we've all had to pivot in some ways. Definitely, not going to the gym, wasn't eating as healthy at first. So what I learned is that getting out of your routine is the absolute worst thing you can do. Because I felt like there was a few times in the beginning of all of this when I really truly didn't know it was going to happen. And it took me.
I remember that feeling. We don't feel it today, but do you remember that feeling?
Yeah.
Like we really didn't know what was going to happen. Like I really pictured that I could be taking my grandchildren and my daughters to a food truck getting like oatmeal or something.
Yeah. So what I did was I scrapped my business plan for this year. As soon as this happened, I scrapped it for the time being because I had to pivot. So now as of this week, I'm back to my business plan, and I feel like we're really turning a corner in all this, right? So the state's opening back up, and I think we're starting to get a little bit more business as usual. So I'm back on that track. But I think the sooner we all get back to what we were doing before, the better off we're going to be.
But we couldn't before, and we're getting there now. So that's the silver lining here, I think, for sure. Denny, I'm praying you can tell me about a bad habit. I just need to know you have some.
No, I don't have any.
Oh, shoot.
Although maybe I lie to myself a little bit, so that could be a bad habit. So the thing that I picked up during this disruption it's really served me is my fear of seeing myself on camera. Now it sounds kind of crazy. I never embraced video. I know the millennials have done great things with video. However, I was a little bit probably vain, and I'm thinking like, that doesn't look like me. Let me redo that. And my sense of having it being done perfect. And so what I've done is, because I can't sing and not Elton John, and I can't put on concerts, what I decided to do 45 days ago or 60 days ago is I started doing value-added meetings, zooming into real estate offices around the country, offering that little class I just was talking about, how to survive scripts and survival in a C19 market. And the repetition of seeing myself on Zoom and seeing myself on camera, and I was coming from contribution, now has helped me get over that fear. That will help me then, just get over myself. My bad habit was probably just being a little bit too vain.
You were vulnerable today. I love it.
So right now, I love that. It's my passion to teach, and my team is doing well. I'm not in production anymore. I support my team, growing our team, and my contribution or my gift and my passion is teaching and sharing and helping other agents.
It is. Hey, Denny, just to be honest, I talked to you last week about doing this video, and I've been doing videos for a long time. I'm very comfortable. I get them just the way I wanted them. I edit them and I post them, and I don't like to look at myself in the mirror. And I was talking to you. I was sitting on my porch 7 o'clock the other night, and I said, Denny, I don't know how to do all this. Zoom, Facebook Live, I'm not good at it. And you said to me, neither am I. And from then on, I said, I'm moving forward. None of us are experts at this today. So God bless you for saying that to me, because it was a big help to me. I don't have a question number 4, so I think we're getting pretty close to wrapping up. Is there anything else any of you would like to share before we conclude our first ever interview, Lessons Learned During a Pandemic?
Well, I would like to thank you. This is going to help a lot of people. And if there's agents out there that need professional help, whether it be title or mortgage, you can't find a better duo right here than Cathy Mann and Julie Scott. We use them. And if you are looking for good real estate advice, if you're an agent, call me, call Candace, because we all come from contribution. I tell this to my clients or other agents all the time. When we're in a negotiation situation, I'll let the other agent know customers come and go. other real estate professionals. We're in this for the long haul, and so we're all in it to win it.
And here's another celebration before Candace has her final remarks. I've been in this real estate industry my whole life, and I've never been disappointed with agents' willingness to support each other with no ulterior motive. And I hope we continue with this in Lee County, because I do believe, Denny, anyone could call you and you give them the advice. And I feel the same way about Candace. And I appreciate your support of Julie with Movement Mortgage and me at Fidelity National Title. We've stood the test of time, and we are good partners to have. But mostly I'm so proud of the industry and how they support each other. So did you, Julie or Candace, have any final remarks before we sign off from my first ever Facebook Live meeting?
Yeah, so Denny, thank you so much for all of your contributions, because I have learned so much from you in just the last couple of months. So you really helped me, and even just the small, 5 minutes of talking about the X factor at Market Watch really, really changed my perspective and helped me prepare for this. So I wanted to say thank you. And Kathy and Julie, thanks so much for putting this on. You guys, you rock, because you're always trying to help us all out, and I really appreciate it.
It is our motivation to support realtors, and we'll continue to do that. Hey, happy Thursday, happy Memorial Day weekend to everyone. And from the bottom of my heart, Denny, I know you're a tough guy to get. Thank you for popping in. Candace, I know you're crazy busy. Thank you for jumping on. You guys are rock stars.
All right, peace out.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.